Did I just go live as I coughed?
No, it just went live now.
Oh, well, news to everyone. I coughed as she was saying, let's go live.
Happy Friday. It's that little thing that you got that you're using instead of the
I need to put it down. Otherwise, I'm going to be coughing this whole time. It's habit now. It's one of those e-cigarettes. So it's strong, though, so it's habit to just sit here and hold it and, like, puff on it while I'm talking. But if I take too big a drag, I'm going to start hacking up a lung.
Yeah, don't do that now.
Yeah, I'm not. Just if I start coughing, just be like, dude, seriously.
Oh, what are you gonna do? Just mute your mic.
I don't. I'm too much of a noob to know how to do that.
I need to go to
There's
the
no mute
actual.
button on it.
You don't have a mute button?
I don't.
That's because your mic is ghetto. Hey, Pong. Just
It's
saying hi to
not
someone.
that ghetto.
Yeah, it is kind of ghetto. I don't actually know your. I haven't seen. You showed me a picture of your mic, and I think it was pretty cool.
Well, see, the thing is, like, you bought a Yeti, but the Yetis are
Boopsh. Yeah.
they're spendy, and I wasn't prepared to quite spend that much money. Although now I'm looking back on it, maybe I should have.
I think it's kind of funny that I got it. It was such a impulse buy for me.
Shiny.
One day I was like, oh my God, I gotta buy this mic. And you know what? I was really pissed off because I went there and I actually reserved a gold and white one because I like the vintage look of it.
Mm-hmm.
However, that's not what I got when I opened the box. And the box also had the picture of the one that I wanted. So I was super stoked to open it. And then I pulled it out of the fucking box and it was silver. And I was like, damn it. Ugh, racism.
Oh, the one I got was on sale. It was like, I don't even know what brand it was. But it was like $40, which was a hell of a lot more, better than the desktop $2 mic I was using before. So I'm just
but that didn't sound that bad. I mean, it wasn't that bad for a $2 mic.
It was a tin can though.
Yeah, it was kind of. It just sounded like you were like on the space station or something on like the first Apollo mission where it was like.
I wish. I would totally go to space. Would you? Would you go to space?
I'd go to space, but I wouldn't go to fucking Mars. Fuck that.
Why not?
Because why would I want to do that? I like Earth. By the time that we colonize up there, it's not going to be useful for us. It's going to take so long. We'll probably be dead.
Okay, I'm not talking about you actually today going to Mars. I'm saying, like, if it were a viable option, would you go?
I'd go to
If
space.
we already had a colony there.
If I could come back, yes, I would go. But permanently, no.
Yeah, it'd be an alright tourist destination, I suppose.
Yeah.
I definitely would go into, orbit, go see the space station as long as I could come back home.
I think you can do that now.
Down. Well, I'm not a millionaire, sweetheart.
Yeah, I think it's like $2 million or something to go with Virgin Galactic. I think.
Yeah, it's who's the Virgin guy? What's his name?
Wrong. Damn it.
Ted? No, Ted.
No, it's not
No.
Ted.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of.
I forget that guy's name. I mean, I have
Richard Branson.
Richard Branson. There you go.
Yeah.
That name sounds fake.
Yeah. Well, he also named his airline Virgin because he's a hippie. Richard Branson got all his money in the 70s when he was smoking the weed.
What else has he done? Just Virgin? That's it?
Virgin Airlines. Virgin is a record label.
Okay.
Right. I think he's involved in a self company too. I don't remember which one. I think it might be Verizon or something. He's a lot like who's the rich guy? The old rich guy. I don't know. He's got his money just diversified into everything.
Yeah.
Branson's money is just everywhere. It's just he made his money through investments, and that's where the bulk of his money is. And then he's also got like his little projects like Virgin Airlines and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Virgin Airlines is a sweet ride, by the way. If you ever get the chance, that's a good trip.
What is, sorry?
Virgin Airlines.
Oh, is it really?
It's a great airline. Yeah, compared to like Delta and stuff like that, it's so much better. It's up there with like the United and the American Airlines, like overseas liners and things like that, like the nice ones, not the intercontinental ones where they just fly about the U.S. Those suck.
Yeah. Oh, tell me about your week. What's going on with you?
My week. Well, my week consisted of meeting a dog and then deciding whether or not I wanted to get a dog. And then my mom coming and taking away my other dog, which pushed me over the edge about getting the second dog. So,
Yeah. Is that the only reason you're getting it? You actually want the dog, though, don't you?
no, I do. I decided I wanted a second dog because Molly's getting older.
Mm-hmm.
She is, I think she's starting to have some health problems and things like that, but she's such a well-behaved dog. She's such a good-mannered dog that I want my next dog to learn from her, to spend some time with her. And,
she's a lab, right?
Yeah.
Just straight?
No, she's got a little bit of mutt in her. She's not a purebred or anything like that, but she's 90% black lab and then maybe like 10% Irish setter.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of red in her, but she's mostly just black lab, and labs live about 9 to 11 years somewhere in there, and she's 10, so she's getting up there. And I just wanted to. I know I'm going to want another dog immediately, anyways. And I got to thinking, I'm like, maybe I should just get a new dog before. And I went around looking at a few shelters, and the first one was full of like pit bulls and terriers, and yippy little dogs. Nothing I was interested in.
What was the one that you looked at? What was he? He's a Doberman.
He's a Doberman. No, he's pretty much Doberman. That's about all he is. They think he might have some kind of terrier in him, but they're not sure. But he's a Doberman. I looked at him, and there's nothing about him that suggests that he's got really anything else in him. He's got the black short coat and the really lean body, and then he's got the gold on his paws and around his mouth. And
his ears are so cute.
Yeah. They usually crop their ears and their tail.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They didn't cut his tail?
No. They, the Humane Society won't do that. It's actually pretty.
Why did they do that? Oh, it's because their tails are really heavy and they whack shit around, right?
Well, what the Doberman was bred for was, it was a tax collector in Europe. I think maybe Germany, somewhere around there. But he bred the Doberman specifically to be his guard dog while he would tie the money around the Doberman's necks while he went through these shady neighborhoods back in like the Doberman's only about 200 years old. So like the, 1800s. He'd go around collecting his taxes and he'd tie the money around the Doberman's neck so he wouldn't get robbed. And the reason why their tails are cropped is because he also, like they were used a lot as working dogs. They would pull things. Oh. And the tail, then without having a tail, then their tail wouldn't hit the rope or whatever that was tied around their harness. That's why they cropped their tail. And their ears were cropped just to make them look more menacing. That pointy-eared look. But I like
the pointy ears. The ears are so cute.
Yeah, they are. I like his floppy ears. I wouldn't change those at all.
That's a happy-ass dog, too. He's super excited.
He is. And I'm excited. Like I said, I went around and looked, and most of the time, the dogs are they're old, or they're sick, or they're just rowdy, and they've been there forever, and just not interested,
Well, they don't get trained, right, while they're stuck in the cage. They just have to be stuck in the cage.
Oh, no, there's like 20 dogs and maybe 5 volunteers. They don't have time to do anything other than really feed them and maybe take them for one walk a day.
Man, that sucks, though.
Yeah, that's why like I said, I remember telling you, I thought about getting a puppy, but it's just
a lot of work.
Puppies are a pain in the ass, but then I go to someplace like a Humane Society or an animal shelter, and I'm like, why would I get a puppy when there's all these dogs here?
Yeah, that's true.
That need homes. They might not be purebred, and the other benefit is you meet a dog that's a year old. The Doberman I'm looking at is 9 months old. You get a really good idea of their personality.
What's really funny is what I was thinking is, oh my God, naming this dog is going to be the bane of my existence. And then I was like, oh, maybe you should name it Bane.
That's actually not a bad idea. I like Bane.
No, it isn't. Bane. We have Vader.
Are you writing these down? We don't want to forget them.
Okay, so far we had Apollo. We had Bane. Well, now we have Bane. We had Vader. What else do we have? Chewy. Eugene. Just kidding. Chewy.
Derek? No.
No, I'm not going to name it Derek.
Daryl. Get a Doberman and name him Daryl. No.
I don't know what to, I just don't even know. I don't know what he looks like because So many names could suit him right now. How big is he gonna get?
That's what pisses me off about today is because I was supposed to go pick him up at 4:00 today because they wouldn't release him. When I decided to get him, it was what, like Wednesday?
Mm.
Or Thursday. Anyway, I
Right.
didn't know it was Thursday. Yesterday, I decided to get him, and they're like, "Okay, come back tomorrow." He needs to, they won't let him go until they've been neutered and then they have all their shots. But he was already neutered, so they didn't have to do that.
Yeah. Someone just suggested Rainbow McLovin.
Oh, all right, perfect.
More for Draco rules. Yay, my homies are here.
But yeah, and then I went to go get him today and got all excited, and they're like, "Yeah, we just fucked off on it today. We didn't do his shots. You got to come back Monday and get him." Fuck you.
Well, I mean, hopefully it won't be any later than Monday. Maybe after you'll hang out with him for a little bit, you'll like figure something out. You have a list now of a few, right?
Yeah. If I can't think of one, I'll FaceTime with you and we'll play catch. We can watch.
Just name him Black. Just Black.
Black. Just.
That's racist. It's racist.
I thought of lots of names like that. Naming him Jesus just to piss people off.
That'd be really funny.
Jesus the dog.
You'd be like yelling in the park, Jesus.
Have you seen? Excuse me, miss. Have you met Jesus yet? Have you found Jesus? Oh, I can put up lost posters all over the place that say, "Looking, if you've seen Jesus, please call me."
Oh my gosh. It's just a picture of him. He's so cute. With his little face. So
that's about it for the dog. What about you?
That's it? Is that it for your week?
My week? Well, other than that, let's see, what else happened this week?
Was that the most exciting thing that happened to you? I mean, that's pretty exciting, getting a dog.
I've been going to the gym, just about every day this week.
Every day?
Been kicking your ass, sweetheart.
I know, but I've been really fucking tired because I went camping this weekend, and then I didn't sleep properly because the first night was so fucking scary. I kept thinking I was going to get eaten by a bear, so...
Continue. Tell us about the bear experience.
Okay, so my other friend Bryan and I, we went camping in Chilliwack, and there's this place there called Chilliwack Creek, and there's a turnoff on the road, and then there's another turnoff on from that main road that goes off road, right? So it's like a dirt road that goes to like out in the bush. So we went there and we got set up, and like I was pretty ready. I wasn't scared. First of all, Bryan was going to put up 2 tents, and I was like, I looked at him and I'm like, why are there 2 tents? He's like, well, I just, I'm a gentleman. I didn't want to assume. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? We better be sleeping in 1 tent. Like, this is not happening. I'm not sleeping out here by myself. So, I mean, fucking sleeping bags anyway. So he put the 1 tent up. We like chilled out, had smokies, had some s'mores, and smoked a lot of weed. And then it was bedtime. And I think it was around 10:30 or 11 o'clock. And I was pretty tired. We had laid down, and within 5-7 minutes, Bryan was already snoring. And I don't know what was happening with me, but I was just really attuned to noises because it is all I could hear. We were sleeping. Our campsite was near a flowing river, so there was the sound of that, which I figured would drown out any other sound, but it didn't. And I basically could not sleep. And in the first few minutes of me laying down, I kept hearing things, and my heart was pounding so hard. Bryan woke up and was like, Amy, are you shaking? Are you cold? And I'm like, no, I'm not cold. I'm not cold. And he was like, are you sure? What is shaking the tent? And I was like, I don't know. Well, apparently in my head, I had this monologue going like, okay, I need to calm down. I need to stay calm. If there is an animal out there, it's not going to be a good idea to panic. Don't panic. Don't be that fucking idiot that freaks out. So I'm like trying to be as rigid as possible. And like, I was not rigid. I was shaking like crazy because my heart was pounding and there was adrenaline going. I tried to fall asleep. So I told Bryan, I'm like, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. It's all good. And then he went back to sleep and passed out for a bit. And I'm still shaking and my heart's still pounding every time I heard a sound. And like, he woke up again and I'm like, Bryan, there's a bear outside. He's like, oh, Amy, there's no bears outside. And I was like, I swear to God, there's something out there. Don't worry about it. And I was like, okay. Sorry, don't worry about it. It's all good. He went back to sleep and passed out, and he was like snoring within 5 minutes. I was trying to do whatever I could to plug my ears. I would lay on my side, cover my other ear with a blanket. I was trying to sleep on my back and putting both fingers in my ear, like putting a finger in each ear to try not to hear anything. But I couldn't.
You're never
Like,
gonna fall asleep like that.
Never. It was so uncomfortable. So I was pretty much awake the whole night and just like freaking out and just trying to be chill and not wake Bryan up. And by the time the morning came, he just like got up, and I got up with him. I was like, oh, okay, we're awake now. I made it through the night. He's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I swear to God, last night I was contemplating my death in that fucking tent. Like I had this pep talk going in my head, and I was like, okay, well, if I die tonight, if a bear comes tonight, everything is going to be okay. I've had a good life. Everything's cool. I mean, if I'm going to go out, I guess if a bear's the way I'm going to go, it's the way I'm going to go. So it's okay. But I ended up waking up in the morning and it was all good.
You're just lucky you weren't on your period.
No, I know. That would have been way worse. But I wouldn't have gone camping.
Then you would have, there would have been bears all over that fucking place.
I don't know, to be honest with you. Like, I mean,
period attracts bears. It's science.
Oh no, I know that. I'm just saying where we were. I don't know if there were even bears. I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
No.
There were like
good.
Bryan's
Bryan
like,
said there weren't any bears there.
He's like, yeah, there's probably like rodents or something out there. So he gets out of the tent, and he had made steak the night before, right? So he goes out and he's like, oh shit, I guess there was something because it licked the thing clean. Oh yeah, I totally forgot that part of the story. He's like, I guess there was something because it licked the packaging clean of the steak, like the marinade that was on it. And I was like, I fucking knew it.
That would have definitely been a rodent, most likely.
Or like a raccoon or something, like something small.
Something like that.
Yeah. And then Saturday.
Crazy,
I know, it was crazy. Saturday was really nice. It was like 30 degrees all weekend. We just chilled out. Like, he read for a bit. I took a nap for 2 hours around 11 o'clock. And then around 5 o'clock, we took the mushrooms. It didn't hit me until like 7:30. And like, reality was bending around me.
It took 2.5 hours?
Yeah, it took a long time.
Wow.
It took a long time to hit me. But man, once it hit me, it fucked me up. And like, the thing about it is, like, it comes in waves. So like, if you imagine the tide coming in, it's like it just like washes up on shore a little bit more every time. So like, the effects are like that. It's like whoosh, and you kind of see like weird like disturbances in your vision, and like you can hear that like there's something that changes auditorily as well. Like, you can hear that like sounds start to magnify. Everything starts to magnify, and then like everything you look at is like a moving picture. The way that I describe it is like, there's a buffering process that happens in your brain. Like, your brain has to consolidate everything that it's taking in with its senses into one unified field of experience. And there's obviously a lag time between perceiving or between gathering that information and then it being perceived by your frontal lobes. So what I think the mushrooms do is like, it slows that process down, and it's like you're continuously seeing reality materialize in front of you, but it's not materializing as usual. Like, there's really vibrant colors and like shit starts mixing up together. It's really crazy. So that was Saturday night, and I had a pretty good sleep that night.
What goes on in your head during that? Do you understand it and just kind of go with the flow, or are you confused by what's going on and like trying to figure it out?
If you don't want to have a bad trip, the best thing to do is go along with it. If you resist the trip or whatever feeling that it brings with it, like, you're going to have a bad time. What happens is it makes parts of your brain integrate that don't typically integrate. So different parts of your brain work together to provide or to create that unified picture, but it all goes to one area, the front of your brain, right? But what happens is all the parts of your brain like mix together and communicate. So that's why you get shit like synesthesia, where you can hear color and like you see sound and stuff. Like, it's really fucking weird. That happens. Music sounds amazing because you're like, all your senses are incredibly heightened. Like, super heightened, right? And I think this is the most amount I've ever done. I did like 7 grams. So I was pretty fucked up for like, I think like, it was like 4
Were
to
you
6
worried about
hours.
taking that much? Because, you know, I've always heard people, you know, say well, not always. I have heard stories about people, you know, just taking too much of it. Were you worried that you might have taken too much at any point?
No, I don't think so. There's always an anxiety that, like, before I take them, I always get a little bit anxious because I'm like excited about it. Because I know that like it always pulls shit out from inside of you in terms of emotions and stuff. So like if there's shit you haven't dealt with in your subconscious, it just pulls that shit out. Like near the end of my trip, I was like crying. I was like, bah! Oh no, sad stuff that I just wasn't acknowledging at all.
Yeah,
That came out near the
brings
end of the
everything
trip.
out, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, but like during the trip, like when it first hits, I forget to breathe. It's so crazy. Like you just,
I remember you told me this. Yeah.
it's really weird. I don't even know. Like it. So if you close your eyes and you're like, you see just fractals and like crazy patterns and all this shit, and then like you start getting sucked in by the visuals that you like. It just felt like I stopped breathing. It's like I had to remind myself to breathe.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, I'm gonna fucking die. Like, yeah. So, that was the most that I ever did. It was such a great experience. We did it around like 5:30, 6 o'clock. So I got to see the daytime transition into the night, and holy shit! Like I looked up at the sky, and it was so clear. And in the city, you can't see that many stars because of all the light pollution. Like the sky was glittering.
Yeah.
Glittering so much, and like, oh my god, it was just really wild. It was really wild. We had a lot of fun. There was the fire was going. I would stare at the fire and get lost looking at the fire because it looked so trippy.
Oh, that happens even when you're not on mushrooms. I imagine when you are, it's even worse. I mean, I can just stone cold sober. I can stare at a fire for hours.
Yeah, it was crazy. And like, you know, in Harry Potter where they have that
Yes.
the flu network, so like Sirius Black would like put his face in the flame or whatever, and you see the face in it. I remember I was having visions like that too. I was like seeing a face in the fire. I'm like, what the fuck? Whose face is that?
Hello, Harry.
No. Yeah.
Oh.
There was that, and then I got into a couple of internet arguments this week with some black dudes that really, really were not down with having a conversation about real life shit. So
that is the best part of this whole national debate that's going on about racism and sexism and all the other isms out there.
Right, that the people who claim that they're not racist are the most fucking racist people on the planet. Like, I didn't even say anything, and it was already assumed yesterday. So this fuck, first of all, commented at me under a post that like I commented about. But the problem is that the person who posted the post actually posted a comment that guy had said to him, in which he was pretty much saying that I don't insult people on the internet, and then he proceeds to insult the guy on the internet. And like he was just pointing out the fact that he was being a fucking hypocrite, and he didn't swear or anything. He just pretty much was like, "Oh yeah, great, like good job saying you don't insult people on the internet, and then you go and insult people on the internet." And like I had just left a harmless comment that was like, "And that, my friends, is what you call an internet bitch slap." This guy.
I'm black and I'm not racist, but all white people are pieces of shit.
Yeah, I like that is exactly what happened. And the most fucked up thing is I had not mentioned my race at all. When he came at me, he assumed that I was white, because the first thing I said to him in the DMs was, you just need to get the fuck over it and move on with your life. Like, it's the internet.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what is the deal here?
People just have a need to just pick fights wherever they can. And it's like I said, it's that whole mindset that people have about this, conversation that we're socially, having in our society right now about sexism and racism. It's listen to what I have to say, but you can go fuck yourself when it comes to rebuttal or anything that you have to say. I don't care. What matters is what I have to say. And they won't give you the same respect. Debate cannot happen anymore. It's just, I want to say my part of it. And then the second you try, even if they allow you to try and speak your mind, they'll shut you down immediately, whether or not, you gave them enough respect to speak their mind. But it doesn't matter. You disagree with them and they're going to fly off the handle.
Well, this was definitely the kind of person that you should not get anyone's time of day. But the problem is like, you kind of have to converse with these people at some point, because we need to, you need to be able to have conversations about ideas. And if people have shit ideas, you need to be able to talk them out of it. Otherwise, you just go to violence, right? And obviously, I don't want to get to that point. So I left this comment under this guy's picture, and this guy responds in the most incoherent fashion. He called me and the guy who posted it cowards. He called us cowards. And he was like, he won't post what he first said. And what he first said in response to something he said initially was like, I hope that your children get flushed out by menstrual blood or some shit like that. Where is it? Let me read this. And he got really, I said that I hope your children make it no further than a bloody vaginal discharge that is mistaken for a heavy menstruation. And that's what he was, that's the guy who posted his comment. That's what he said. So, so this guy gets pissed off and he thinks he has an argument and he's like, oh my God, he's talking about children, blah, 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 blah. Like, he didn't really understand the context of what I was saying or what was happening at all. I had to explain to him, do you understand that my comment pertains to the context of this post? It has nothing to do with you. I mean, sure, it's about your post, but I commented the person who posted it directly. I didn't even fucking address you. Why are you trying to talk to me for? And then he had a point. He just had to prove a point. So he messages me in the DMs and he's trying to send me a screenshot of the comment prior. And he thought that I was going to back him up or something, right? And I was like, okay. So we first had a huge comment exchange under this other guy's picture. I posted this on Instagram too, because I was just like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
Okay. So he starts the DMs by sending me a picture of that exchange, that menstrual blood comment, right? And then I went, ... question mark. I responded under the post, your argument still isn't valid. And then he thought I was saying that I was confused because of the question mark, which was not true. And I'm like, get over it and move on with your life. And it doesn't make that particular post any less funny to me, because it's still fucking funny.
Yeah.
And then he starts going off about this like it's some serious thing. Like, you can't say that. Like, this is about children. It's not an argument. If some say they hope my kids die, and I say, yeah, it's a bitch slap. Same thing all white people say about everything. Get over it.
Yeah.
First of all, why do you assume that I'm white just because I told you to get over it?
That's a good question. Because it's so hard to even.
I just don't get why you would assume someone's race right off the bat. What does that have to fucking do with it?
Because you don't agree with him, so you're obviously the opposite. You're the devil right now, and the devil is the white man right now. Well, it has been for a while, but
it's
so even more
ridiculous.
so right now when people of color get pissed off, whether they know you or not, because you see it all the time. They don't agree with you, whether they met you or not. You're guaranteed to be a white person in their mind. That's just the way it is. Unfortunately.
Yeah, because they said get over it. Because I guess white people are telling them to get over slavery, which they fucking should.
You should get over fucking slavery.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It has been, 200 years?
Wow, something like that.
Well, no, it hasn't been 200 years, but it's been...
Something like that.
I don't remember the year slavery was abolished, but it's been a while. It was the 60s and 70s when we went through all the equal rights stuff. It's been 50 years, damn near 50 years since then. Yeah. And... I'm sorry, that's not the black people. I'm sorry you don't fucking understand. Not I'm sorry you were a slave, by the way.
Yeah.
For anybody out there. I'm not sorry that they were slaves.
For anybody out there, nobody today is a fucking slave.
You weren't a fucking slave.
No.
Your grandma wasn't a fucking slave. Your great grandma wasn't a fucking slave. The people that were slaves it sucks that it happened, but I'm sorry. I'm white. I'm Scottish. You know what? We got destroyed by the British. Back when my family was still in Scotland, the Greeks put up a wall to keep us out when the Greeks had control of Great Britain or England. And during the, you look at the movie Braveheart, that actually happened. The English king would come in. He would, insist on, prima nocta. He would sleep with the bride the night before the wedding just to throw insult into injury or at the Scottish men. The shit like that. We were murdered. We were hunted down. I'm not pissed about that because I'm not Scottish. I'm an American now.
Yeah, but I mean, there is no fucking slavery in America anymore. I don't even understand why slavery is being brought up at all, and why on earth are these? This is so gross. You people are trying to get free shit, because you didn't suffer at all for it. And by the way, if your fucking ancestors weren't brought here as slaves, you wouldn't be reaping the benefits of the Western world right now. So why the fuck don't you shut the fuck up? I don't understand this. Am I supposed to feel sorry for you because somebody at some point in your lineage was a slave? Hey, guess what? Me too. But you don't hear me bitching, man.
The other day there was was it Devin Tracy that was playing the video about the lady? She was talking about how, I don't know if it was him or something else I read.
Probably was.
They were talking about how white people started slavery. Fuck off, we did not.
No.
Slavery has been around since the beginning of mankind. People have been getting enslaved. How do you think the pyramids were built? It wasn't white people enslaving black people.
No.
It was brown people enslaving other brown people.
We was kangs and shit. So
and you look at, it goes back to, oh, my ancestors were a slave and it should have never. Well, fucker, if it didn't happen, you wouldn't be in the United States. And it sucks that it happened.
Yeah.
And the United States apologized for it a long time ago. And we even fought a fucking war over it to stop it. That's the whole reason the Civil War happened.
Yeah. People don't like to acknowledge the fact that white people also ended slavery in America. They just like to focus on the fact that white people started slavery.
Yeah. We ended it. And
you remember what Ghazi said? That black guy who was on Gavin McInnes, Black Hitler, they call him. Wall Street is built on black bones. There are black bones under Wall Street.
Oh my God, that triggered me so fucking hard. There were slaves in the North. If there were, they were incredibly rare because you know what, motherfucker? Slavery was illegal in the North.
Yeah.
That's what caused the Civil War, because the United States decided to make slavery illegal. It was going to be, beforehand, it was a state-by-state decision, which is why the South had slaves and the North did not, because most of the states in the North decided not to do it. When the Civil War happened, it was because the Supreme Court and the Congress signed a bill into law that made slavery illegal throughout the entire continental U.S. A lot of the southern states challenged it. The Supreme Court upheld it. They decided to secede from the Union, and we said, fuck you, you're not leaving. Slavery. And that's what caused it. They wanted to secede from the Union because they weren't allowed to have slaves anymore. And you know what? We fought a war over it. And it wasn't only, I've heard arguments that say we fought the Civil War only because the United States didn't want to lose, half of its infrastructure by losing the southern states. But that was part of it. Yeah, we didn't want all those states to secede from the Union, but we also believed that slavery was wrong and we had to get rid of it. But anyway, yeah, if slavery didn't exist, motherfucker, you would still be living in a mud hut chasing down a gazelle for dinner.
I just don't understand that. Oh my God, my Africans, Africa did this, Africans this, Africa that. Fucking go to Africa then. Why are you
You're not
coming
any
here?
more African than I am Scottish or you are Indian.
Yeah, I'm
sorry, you're a Canadian, I'm an American, they're Americans, especially these people at that college that were losing their shits that we saw.
The no whites day.
Yeah, the no whites day. Fucking no whites day. That's not racist? I'm sorry. If I were to start a no colors day at any college, I'd be lynched and murdered. I
Yeah, it
guarantee
would be just like if you started a show with the name Dear Black People. Because there's a show on Netflix called Dear White People.
There
And
it
like
is.
one of the clips that I saw was like the main actress was like sitting and doing a radio show and like dictating what Halloween costumes are acceptable. Like fuck off, I'll dress up as whatever I want. What the fuck is your problem? So you guys can have so there can be movies like White Chicks where those Marlon twins paint their faces white or like have white girl masks on.
But if I
But
were to go to
blackface is
Halloween
like the
with
most
blackface, I would make it on the front page of USA Today. I guarantee it.
right, exactly. So it's
I
really
should
fucking
do it.
stupid. So I can't I freaked out yesterday. I was trying to talk to this guy and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do it because like, why the fuck not? Let me like practice a little bit. Let me calibrate my temperament and learn how to deal with these kind of people because there's way more people like this on the internet than there are calm, sensible people.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody just wants to fight. And you know what? Like there's this whole thing of like anonymity, right? Like people feel so fucking buff when they're behind an avatar and like a username and you don't know who the fuck they are. They'll threaten to bitch slap you. Like this guy was like, I'm going to bitch slap you guys in real life. And I'm like, you're such a, like in my head, you're such a sad person. I'm talking about a metaphorical bitch slap on the internet because you got insulted, because your hypocrisy was exemplified. Why are you upset that it's been posted? You look like an idiot. That's why. Instead of like just accepting that you're a fucking idiot and learning from it, no, you're just going to double down on your bullshit. And then you're going to come at me who has nothing to do with you. You want to bitch at the guy who posted it? That's totally okay. Why are you coming at me for? But that's okay. This guy tells me I have no respect, okay? Because of that menstrual blood comment, and he starts telling me, I can't believe you would like, it's not an argument if someone says they hope my kids die. Yeah. And I'm like, well, no one's saying that that was an argument. It's just a fucking internet insult. Like, the internet is pretty much just like sarcasm and trolling. You know what I mean? Like,
well, see, the thing is, like, a lot of people, like, I remember hearing this a long time ago, and I think it still holds true today. But people, you know, especially in forums and YouTube comments, especially, you can't put too much stock into the people that actually speak on the internet, especially in YouTube, because 90% of the people just watch the video and move on. They're the normal folk for the most part. And out of that remaining 10%, 8% of them are fucking off their rocker. And those are the people that comment the crazy shit. And the other 2% are people like you. The majority of people like you that just want to have a rational thought and express it, just they don't say anything. So you're outnumbered by, you know, like so much of it is just the people that express all this negative shit on the internet. It's just, you can't, you know, I remember telling a friend of mine that you can't put too much stock in it because the majority of people just look at it and move on. It's the crazies out there, the goddamn unicorns that get in the way and pick fights with you, like you said, on Instagram, and for no reason, just feel like picking a fight. And I have a thought and you need to listen to it. Well, you know, it's like the whole freedom of speech thing. You know, freedom of speech means you can say whatever the hell you want, but it doesn't mean I have to listen.
exactly.
Nowhere does it say I have to care about what you have to say. It just means you can say it. But
yeah, so I don't even, this conversation on the conversation that was coming out of his end was so incoherent. So he called me dumb. He thought it was necessary to mention they had a college degree.
of course.
And I was just like, okay, you have a college degree. You can't even type coherent sentences. I can't even understand what you're really saying because of the way that you type. And then he starts making fun of me because he's like, this is social media, you hoe. You care. I'm like, I care about how I present myself to the world because I don't want to sound like ghetto trash. And then he's like, ghetto, you can't use that word. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'll use whatever fucking word I want. Like, it's called free speech. Like, yeah, what the fuck? So I guess he got kind of pissed because the most racist thing that I could have possibly said in that conversation was, you sharp, nigga, you sharp. And he responded with, you sharp, cracker, you sharp. And I'm like, I'm not white.
No.
And like, sorry, I'm looking at this right now. So the first argument he threw at me was, I'm just showing you how low of morals you have.
Yeah.
Because I told him to get over the internet insult and just move on with your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I told him he's having a hissy fit. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm having a hissy fit pretty much. And I'm just like, well, I mean, fucking clearly. And then he goes, I'm showing you how low morals you have, just like an atheist. And I'm like, I know.
Atheism.
I'm like,
You have such shitty morals because you don't believe what I do.
I know. And I'm like, you're messaging me privately because you were bothered by a comment. Like, are you virtue signaling because you think you know my moral position from a comment exchange on Instagram? And then he's like, no, I wasn't bothered, dummy. And I'm like, people like you are really sad. You pull humanity backwards. And then he's like, I was showing you what I responded to. And I'm like, oh, you're calling me a dummy. And at the same time, you're telling me I have no respect.
Yeah. See, at that point, too, like he's talking about how it's social media and you should be able to, it's a free platform. Well, at this point in your conversation, that's direct messaging. That's not social media anymore.
Mm-hmm,
You're not having a discussion on a forum or in a
yeah, but it doesn't fucking matter. I'm still gonna have coherent sentences. I'm still gonna sound like
I'm just saying that he's trying to use this as an excuse, and it's just he doesn't even realize what format he's using. Like this is, you're having a one-on-one private conversation now. It's no longer social media.
Right. So
he doesn't even realize it.
No, and so he calls me a dummy, and I'm like, I have no respect. LOL. And then he goes, that's why I called him a coward. I'm like, you sharp, nigga, you sharp. Are you done defending yourself, bro? And he's like, you sharp, cracker, you sharp. I'm like, I'm not white. And then he goes, that's why you're going to be slaves soon. So he thinks white people are going to be slaves next.
That's the goal, isn't it?
I mean,
Isn't that the goal of all these? I'm sorry, can I say the N-word here? Are we going to get in trouble for that?
Don't say it with the ER. You might piss someone off. Who knows? Yeah. I don't care if you do. It's just a word to me.
All them snowflakes out there right now. You know what?
Chocolate snowflakes.
Chocolate covered snowflakes out there that's the goal. Like I said, it's no longer a fight for equality. It's a fight for supremacy. Yeah. And, they're not going to be happy until they can just put their foot on the head of the black man or the white man and push our face in the mud. They have to be on top, but you know what? And all these conversations, we need to get to the other text message conversation you have soon, because I have a lot to say about that guy too.
Oh yeah, that one was the week before. And like, what's really funny about that conversation, we'll come back to it, but like he started by telling me I have a half black brother. And I'm very supportive of Black Lives Matter. And I'm like, identity politics shit right off the bat? Oh boy. And the first thing I said to make my position clear was, I fucking do not support Black Lives Matter. They are the most racist fucking organization out there.
Yes, they are.
And then I continued on, and like, he obviously
they're no better than the Black Panthers.
No, they're not. They're awful. Oh, if you're going to be marching in the streets saying shit like pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon, I'm sorry, but you're no fucking better. And it's like, are you people not aware that there are black people on the police force?
And then they get pissed off. Exactly. And then there's a lot of black people in the police force.
Yeah. Especially in places like Baltimore.
Yeah. Baltimore, like the Chicago PD, the Chicago PD is, I don't know, I guarantee you more than half of it's not white. Mm-hmm. And they get so pissed off. I mean, it's been the running joke ever since Black Lives Matter started. But what would happen if I started a society called White Lives Matter? Oh my God.
Oh man, you'd get there'd be anything you do that's white, anything is a problem. You can say black power, you can say brown power, but if you say white power, you're in fucking trouble. Like that's just
even if you say, even the Blue Lives Matter thing and how they lose their shit over Blue Lives Matter. And it's like, I'm sorry, the cops have a right to be upset that they're getting shot too.
Yeah, no kidding. And like,
I back the guy in every one of these situations. My default position is to side with the cop.
Oh, did you watch that video? Did you see that video that was? Hey James, did you see that video that was abolish the police? Have you seen that video?
Yeah, we watched it.
Oh my God. Like rapid response justice teams. What the fuck are you talking about, bitch? That's what cops are.
That's what they wanted. Well, yeah, they want gangbangers apparently to solve their own issues. Like, I guess that's what it means to me. It's like when I hear them talk about that, all right, they talk about how they don't need cops in these black communities. Well, I'm sorry. When I think of a black community, I don't think of a middle class American community. I think of a low income area, overpopulated, with a lot of gang activity. A lot of times I'm sorry to sound racist, but that's kind of what you think of when you think of a black community. And when you say get rid of the cops, it's like, who's going to solve your issues for you? What are you going to do? You're going to call the gangbanger down the street to solve your problem, really? Or what? You're going to call a counseling team to come and talk you through your program?
Yeah.
Get rid of the prison system? Are you kidding me? What are we going to do with everybody? Just anarchy? And like I remember telling you, all right, they want us to get rid of the cops. Say there's a suburb in southern Chicago or South Chicago, and we decide, all right, there's no longer a police force in this town. Handle your own business. Mm-hmm. How long would it be before the state of Illinois would have to send the National Guard rolling in there to take care of shit?
Yeah, and who calls the cops?
Exactly.
I'm pretty sure black people call cops too.
Oh yeah, yeah. The majority of 911 calls come from, the colored communities, and that's just statistics. That's all it is. It's not me being racist. That's just what it is.
Yeah, but the problem is, this is the problem with discussing black crime stats. And Devin had this problem, and he gets called racist left, right, and center because when you say 54% of murders are committed by blacks, what people are hearing is because of their black skin, they are murderers. No, motherfucker. It's because they're criminals. It has nothing to do with their skin color. That's just the trend. They happen to be that color, and it's just an indication of the number based on the group that's committing the crimes. It has nothing to do with their skin. They're not genetically predisposed to murder. We're just pointing out a trend. People don't understand this. This point has been hammered online by every fucking YouTuber that's talking about this so many times, but it doesn't matter because they're still going to be called racist no matter what they do. Yeah. A black person can say the same shit and he's going to get called a house nigger and a coon and all that other shit. All these horrible racist names by other black people. And they're trying to sit there and I don't even understand how they think they're in any kind of higher moral position when they're behaving like savages like that. And Black Lives Matter, then why are you so quick to dismiss an educated black person that is trying to explain statistics to you?
Yeah. It doesn't matter what color skin you have. When you disagree with someone, they don't see the color in their skin. They try, I'm not saying that in a good way. If your views don't align with theirs, then you're not black. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah, they take away your black card. This guy took away my brown card. He's like, you may as well be white. You look white. I know you use white privileges. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking?
Yeah.
What are you talking?
What white fucking privileges?
I use Western world privileges because I live in the Western fucking world, and we all have the same opportunities if we get them for ourselves, or if we go out and chase those opportunities.
The only there's a commercial floating around, on TV right now in the U.S. It's one of those, we need to end smoking commercials. That's I'm pretty sure put out by MTV, but
they suck.
Yeah, but it's this girl, and she's walking around a black community, and she's like, "Did you know that these cigarette companies in the United States focus, 60% of their advertisement to black communities and to black people?" And, it shows all these cool and Newport signs in the background. She's like, "I see what you're doing. That's profiling. That's racism." And no, it fucking isn't. It's called the demographic. And I'm sorry, more black people smoke. And so all they're trying to do is marketing.
Stereotypes for a reason. These are general trends we see in the world. They're manifesting themselves in the world. It's not like we're just like...
Isn't taking their Marlboro cigarettes and trying to force them down the throat of black people out of spite.
No.
They're looking at the demographics and going, hey, a lot of black people smoke Newports. Let's put up a lot of signs in black neighborhoods to get them to buy more Newports.
They want to make money. They don't care who smokes them, but they're going to do what they can to appeal to the demographic that purchases their product. People don't understand that shit. It's like, oh, I get it. You're trying to make Barbies look like this, so only girls buy them. Well, yeah, they're fucking designed for them for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like certain things are advertised to certain people or whatever for a reason. And it's because that company has an interest in making as much money as possible. I mean, like, it seems like common sense.
Sorry, I made myself laugh. I just had the most racist thought come to mind. I wanted to make a joke, but no. Anyway. But I mean, I'm as a white guy, I'm targeted with all kinds of shit on YouTube. I'm targeted with shit, too, but I'm not.
No, you're just not allowed to be white. It's not okay to be white. Like they're trying to stigmatize being white, and for some reason, like I fail to see how they're not aware of how like violently the irony meter is exploding. Like you guys are the most racist fucking people. Do you think you're doing any better by pulling us backwards and trying to segregate and have black safe spaces and white only days and all this kind of shit? You fucking motherfuckers want reparations for shit you didn't even have to experience? Like, you go handle your shitty life. Your life is shitty because of you. And you know what? I don't give a fuck if you're poor. You don't get to commit crimes and get off scot-free because you're fucking poor. A crime is a crime. It's that simple. It's like, why do I have to sit here and hear a sob story about how shitty your life is? You either gonna make it better, because guess what? Life is not an even playing field. None of us are born in the same fucking situation. We're all born on different levels. We all have to work with what we've got. Some people are born with way more privilege. Some people are not. And that's just the fuck how it goes. That's just how it goes.
It's just like, I remember the argument about living in these black communities and the high crime rate and how we live in these shitty communities and we can't get out of them. Why can't you get out of them? It's because you don't fucking want to. Yeah,
there's the white man is holding them down. It's always the white man.
I'm sorry. I live in America and there are absolutely no restrictions on whether or not you can fucking move anywhere. Just pick up and go. If I wanted to move from Chicago to Colorado, I could just get in my car, leave my shit behind and go. I'm living in Colorado now. When it comes to getting my driver's license, I just say, I live here, give me a driver's license. And they got to say, okay.
First of all,
we're not keeping them there. There's nothing holding them there. They're choosing to be there. And I'm sorry, the reason why that community that they're bitching about sucks is because you made it that way. It's not because the white people made it that way. We didn't have anything to do with the fact that your community sucks. Because you know why? Because we don't fucking live there. You know why we don't live there? Because it sucks and we picked up and moved out. You can do the same thing. If you want to make your life better, just pick up and move and go somewhere else.
It's not just moving. It's don't have children out of wedlock. You need to be in a family setting where both parents are fucking there, because they have the highest single mother rate, I think, right now. I think I don't know if it's whites or blacks right now. I think it's blacks, but like it's a known fact.
Whites, white people are, for the most part, the minority right now in the United States, especially. We're not the majority anymore. Even if we are, it's by a pretty slim margin. It's not going to be long before we're the minority.
I think whites are like 67 or 63% of the country, but
the dynamic is shifting really quick.
Yeah, it's just a known fact that fatherless households typically produce the most crime-riddled children.
Mm-hmm.
Because the mother is not even around to help take care, or she's like a welfare woman, right? Like she lives off the government because she can't do it on her own.
Yeah.
And then these kids get into bad situations and whatever. And well, there you go. Like if you want to take care of the problem, stop having fucking kids out of wedlock. Stop. But oh no, you can't have a show called Dear Black People that tells them how to fucking live their lives.
I don't know. I just don't know. I don't even know what the hell. I don't know what's called. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm at a loss.
So 75% of black
It's
kids
nuts.
have no father.
Oh,
So that's quite high. One of my friends is just giving me the number in the chat right now.
Watching it. Yeah, I see. That's a lot. That's ridiculous. Even. I mean, I'm sorry. It's no wonder. That's not my problem either. That shouldn't be my problem. But again, that's another thing that's just it's being kind of forced on white people's fault. Overpopulation, shitty schools. Not really, because you know why? Because like it goes back to the community thing. Their community sucks. Well, there's a reason why white people don't live there.
Yeah, but their community sucking is their fault. They need to change their behavior. They need to care about their communities enough to make the right choices to not have communities like that. I shouldn't say it's simple. It's going to take a lot of work on their part, but they can't you can't just blame your fucking problems on everybody outside of you. And that's what they're doing. It's just projection. It's nothing but projection. And it's 2017 and it's still white people's problem that you guys are poor and you guys are committing crimes. No, it's not. 75%, let's just say, for argument's sake, that 75% is the actual number right now. Okay. So, I mean, the crime rate, I think 54% of the murders or something like that in America are committed by blacks. 98% of blacks are killed by other blacks. And what else is it? It's 6% of the fucking population. Because it's young men, right? It's not more women that commit the crime. It's more the younger men.
Look at those stats that Nevo put in the 57% of black children, 31% of Hispanic, and 20% of white children. That's a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous to think of. While he's at it, he should also look up what population of the United States is white.
We should. I think it's between 63 and 67.
Oh,
he's gonna look up shit for us.
I know. Fact checker.
Garcon, we need you to look up something.
But it goes back to the white Hitler argument that he was doing, or white Hitler. We all knew white Hitler. Adolf. Black Hitler. It goes back to the argument he had when he was in that video. He goes, black people built America. Oh, fuck off. No, they didn't. I'm sorry. I object to that because it's an insult to me as a white American. And not because I don't have respect for what they went through or what they did, but I'm sorry. He's specifically there talking about slavery and then the influence that the black man had after slavery. But the thing is, during slavery, what the black men and women contributed was physical labor, and that's it. And only in about 30 to 40% of our country. The main hubs of our country were free of slaves. Washington, D.C., New York, Boston, Chicago, Philadelphia. There were no slaves there. And then, when you talk about our culture, are you going to tell me that the culture was shaped by not by, I'm sorry. I just don't buy it. The United States is where it's at right now. It was a collective effort, but it was heavily influenced by European culture, not African culture. This country would look a whole lot different if it was.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I'm going to try and open this again. I'm starting
what are you
to
looking
get
for?
Sleepy in my conversation.
God,
I'm such an old lady. I just can't stay up past fucking 11 o'clock anymore. Oh my God.
Well,
it's kind of sad. It's Friday night. No, I want to go through this actually. At least I want to finish this conversation before I finish.
Okay.
Because I had such a hard time with this yesterday. I went on a rant on Snapchat yesterday. I posted that rant on Instagram. I was just like so fired up because of this. Because so just because like I don't even understand the logic behind it, and I'm probably gonna drive myself insane trying to figure it out. There's no point. Obviously, this guy is not of sound mind. So I don't want to worry about it too much, but holy crap. Yeah, Daniel, like early bedtime's the shit. Sleeping is so underrated. But anyway, this guy straight up comes at me with, I know you use white privileges. You are not brown. And I'm like, oh, now you're taking away my genetic identity? I didn't know I wasn't brown. Better tell mom and dad. And guess what this motherfucker starts doing? Oh, let me just throw you a Bible quote right now.
Oh, Jesus.
And I'm like, okay. And then he goes, which color are you? I'll wait. And I'm like, all this time, I thought I was of Indian and Fijian descent. And he goes, LMAO, Fijian. And then I'm like, but some silly fuck on the internet is going to tell me who I am.
Yeah.
And then he goes, only your dad's descent matters.
Oh, really?
Apparently. I did not know this.
I wish I knew that. I don't
like,
have any drip in me at all. I'm 100% Scottish then. Bring it on, motherfuckers.
I'm like, okay, either way, I'm brown. My father's from India. And he goes, you said you brown. I asked yo dumbass to show me. He from India, LMAO, pitiful. You aren't brown, sweetie. You are a fair complexion. You don't match any brown complexion. Sorry. And I'm like, here's the deal. I don't need to prove anything to you. You're crying and messaging someone you don't even know and can't be a civil human being. You're a savage. And yes, I am fair, but that does nothing of my heritage. If you had a brain, you'd be able to recognize that some Indians are fair-skinned. But since I don't fit your paradigm, you need to make baseless assertions. That's what smart people do, right? Wink. And then he goes, now I'm crying. And I'm like, excuse me while I fall into a depression from all these memes. and then he proceeds to call me a hoe. Oh, you commented about me and mad when I say some. You are a fair-skinned Indian, not brown.
Was that Ebonics right there, or was he just?
I don't know, but like obviously.
Yeah, now what? Say something.
Yeah. I'm like, I commented under someone else's picture, you fragile baby. Grow a pair, you dig? Don't get so hurt over the internet. And then he goes, so when I respond, I can't say none, huh? I ain't hurt, you her. You can you can comment, but don't want me to comment back. And your dad is the savage from a third world country. So now he thinks that maybe he can get to me. Daniel 29, yes. Now he thinks he can get to me by insulting my dad. And I'm like, where is this going? It was all ad hominems throughout the entire conversation. He didn't say anything of use at all. And I was just like, holy crap. Like, I don't understand people who engage in these kinds of like psychological battles all the time on the internet. Like, you do have to kind of watch it, right? Because it's such a fucking drain of energy. So I'm like trying to talk to this guy. I'm like, and if you want progress, be open to having intelligible conversation instead of coming at people with ad hominems. Also, I would write to the college you went to because they did you wrong. Your writing skills are incredibly sad. And I'm like, insult my parents. It's cool. I'm a savage too. And I love it. And then he goes, your heritage doesn't mean you brown.
So.
And then he goes, I got my college degree. You? And I'm like, and then he's like, you worried about writing? LMAO, ho, this is social media. And I'm like, what? Indeed, I went to university for nursing. How you present yourself to the world matters. Doesn't matter the medium within which you operate. And then he goes,
it's all over the place.
I know, present myself to the world, LMAO. I'm like, this ho cares to be literate and put in effort communicating. And then he goes, on social media, huh? And I'm like, everywhere. Consistency is key. Don't want to sound like some ghetto trash. And get this insult. Ooh, this burn. LMAO. You sound dumb.
Wow.
And then I put a wink. And then he goes, you don't know what ghetto is. Trash is white people. And I'm like, oh my. Well, thanks for your time. Good luck in life. And then he goes, trailer park trash. And your dad came from trash, let's not forget. And I'm like, cool. And then he's like, third world country. He working for 50 cents. So YOLO racist jokes aren't cute, especially when your dad lived in the worst conditions than the ghetto. And I'm like, what racist joke did I make at that point? Like, my dad makes good money, actually. He's in India. His parents were loaded too, ran a farm, huge house. And he's like, but you talking about your heritage. And then I was like, my racist jokes?
But let's talk about his heritage for a second. What is his paternal ancestors doing?
I don't know. I just think I'm pretty sure he's black. Obviously, he's black.
Huts in Africa, not making any money, or did they get
this is what I mean.
Involved in the apartheid regime? Like, who the fuck knows?
This is the projection, though, that I'm talking about. This person has never spoken to me in his fucking life, and he's creating a narrative to suit his feelings that he's having.
Yeah.
He's creating a narrative around, like, with no information. It's like, how the fuck do you talk to someone like that who already thinks they know you and know everything about you based on nothing?
When we were talking about your ex and how he, some people, they just get these images of you in their mind, and whatever that is, no matter what you do, you cannot change it, because he had that image within 30 seconds of meeting you. And anything that happened after that, he just kept feeling more and more animosity towards you because you were verbally bitch slapping him the whole time. And he just got more and more pissed at you. And by the end of it, you were just some succubus, and he just wanted, like, there was nothing you could do to change his mind about who you are or what you are. It doesn't matter what you say.
No, but that's the problem too. It's the thing is, they have feelings. And instead of adjusting their feelings to what's happening on the outside, they're trying to twist the outside to justify the shitty feelings they have.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. Grow the fuck up, man. I'm so tired of that shit. You think you're so right, and then you're going to do whatever you can to confirm whatever you're fucking feeling, and then you're going to come at me with some bullshit and tell me that I'm white. Tell me that I use white privilege. Tell me that I'm a fucking fake and a fraud or whatever the fuck you have to say about me because you have shitty feelings. Get over yourself. Nobody knows me but me. I know my intentions. I know what I think. I know what I am. I don't need you fucking telling me. So I haven't even given this guy any information. He starts telling me about my dad. And I'm like, what are you fucking talking about, dude? Like, I was so thrown off. Okay, so... he tells me that I've made racist jokes. I have not said anything racist to this point.
Yeah.
He goes, loaded in India, ghetto trash and nigga. You have no right to say... Did I say the comment yet? No, I didn't say anything. Ghetto trash and nigga. You have no right to say those words. And I'm like, you're so unaware. I can't waste any more time. Thanks for yours. I have a book to read. Peace. I will say whatever I wish. Free speech.
No.
Actually said, I will say whatever I wish. Biatch. Free speech. And then he goes, no, you are unspace aware. People from India aren't black. When did I fucking say that? Lil ho, out here with no morals, thinking you're brown, Indian trash.
Anybody that's not black is white.
Yeah, right?
Isn't that how it used to be? So it's just like a 180, right? Because before, it was anybody that's not white is black.
What?
And now, back in the day, back in the 1900s, anyone that isn't white is black. That's how racism was back when, slavery and the racism was out ahead, And now it's switching, where anybody that's not black is white. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's turning into now.
Okay, I'm gonna get through this conversation, okay?
Okay.
So this fuck. No, you are unaware. People from India aren't black. Nobody said that. Lil ho out here with no morals, thinking you brown, Indian trash. Mom is Fijian, ho, sit down. Y'all some nobodies. Yo, dad had a lot of money in third world countries, says a lot about his character. I don't know what the fuck he meant by that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, unaware is one word, Mr. College Degree. No one said people from India are black. I said brown because they're brown. We are referred to as brown for a reason. It's called recognizing general trends, which you'd think you would understand having a degree and all. My dad has a lot of money in Canada, not India. You should stop thinking you know so much about things you don't know anything about. You can call me trash if you like. Doesn't bother me. I know me better than you do, princess. Your words don't change the facts of my life, of which you know nothing about. Have a nice day. Hope you have a nice life full of all the privileges you could hope for. Excuse my savage ass. And then he starts to tell me, Indians aren't brown. You aren't brown, sweetie. I'm like, okay, princess, whatever you say. And then he's like, okay, whore, whatever you say, still white. In society's eyes, you're white. In Canada, you white. I'm like, okay, princess. He's like, in India, you white. I'm like, all right, princess. He's like, in Fijian, you white, whore. Okay, whore, glad you understand. Still typing, ho? And I'm like, thank you for imparting your wisdom on me, princess. You are so amazing. I will be forever grateful. And he goes, I can give you wisdom because you so smart, you an atheist. Lil ho an atheist. But don't realize she needs God to be an atheist, LMAO. But you so smart. So you agree with evolution too, Lil ho? I'm like, my heart is hurting. Oh my goodness. Whatever will I do? Some invalid is insulting me on the interwebs. I need a safe space. And then he's like, yawn, corny. Lil ho, you believe in evolution? And then I'm like, who apparently doesn't even understand the definition of the word atheist. And he goes, no, you don't. What an argument. I'm like, impart some more wisdom on.
No, I just remember the whole "no you" argument.
I know, right? I'm like, impart some more wisdom on me then, my princess. Tell me what atheism means. I'm dying to know. I'm a little hoe, but a cute little hoe. Hee hee. Oh wait, you're gonna call me ugly now? Oh man, people like you are the reason humanity gets pulled backwards. It is so sad, dude. I'm so sorry for you. I don't want to waste my time on you anymore. Oh, I don't want to waste my time on any more of this abortion of a conversation. It is sad you weren't flushed out of your mother's body as menstrual blood. I really hope you don't have children. Anyways, peace out. Thank you for your time. May God bless your soul. And then that's where I stopped. And he goes, if God didn't exist, why would you need say you don't believe in him? How can you be an atheist without God? It's the belief that God doesn't exist. But if he doesn't exist, doesn't that mean you saying you don't believe in nothing? Or you that simple? Tell me how you can say you don't believe in nothing. If he doesn't exist, why acknowledge him? Lil Ho doesn't understand. Lil Ho, it said you were born to an Indian and Fijian. You can't understand because you are simple. Does God exist? Yes or no? I'm gonna help you out because you so smart, you dumb. It's sad you can't understand that, Lil Ho. If something doesn't exist, that means it is nothing. You say God doesn't exist. If he doesn't exist, why you call yourself an atheist? Oh my God, like that shit just makes my fucking brain cells explode.
That was
Hey man, I fucking tried. I had to try.
Something to be proud of. He represented his culture well there.
Oh my God.
Progressive. He's moving forward in the world, let me tell you.
People who are like really stupid to this degree, I find, are typically religious, and that's really sad to me.
Shut up, Lil Ho.
Lil Ho.
Lil Ho.
And like the whole time he's like, you don't know any respect. And I'm like, within the first like 2 minutes of that conversation, you called me a dummy. You called me a hoe. Like, you're telling me I'm dumb because like I sound dumb. Like, dude, if you can tell me I sounded dumb in that conversation, I don't know what planet you're fucking living on. Like, you cannot even construct a coherent sentence and you're seriously calling me dumb. I think he was just trying to, like, get to me emotionally because that's what it seemed like. And I was like...
Yeah, he was trying to troll you a little bit, but...
Exactly.
It backfired on him, and he didn't know really what... Like, you weren't getting upset with him. You were just...
No.
You were being rational, and you were being calm, and you were just replying to things and laughing at him for being an idiot. And he couldn't get the rise out of you he wanted, so he just kept poking you and poking you and poking you. And it's funny how, like, even just while you were reading that, his grammar, his language just deteriorated from, at first he sounded reasonably intelligent, or at least he could string a sentence together. And by the end, it's slang. Like, it's just... It's slang is all it is. All he's throwing at you is Lil Ho, you a little hoe. Like, that's all it is. Just bullshit he's throwing at you.
And it was such an overblown reaction to something so minuscule. Like, that is less than a fleck of dust in the grand scheme of things. Like, it's nothing. It's not even an atom of an occurrence. You know what I mean? It's so fucking small. That shit wouldn't even make a string theory string. Like, it was so fucking small. Like, how much of a pussy are you that you're going to get so hyped up over a comment that wasn't even made directly to you?
Yeah.
Hi, Mita. You're going to fucking make comments at me. Like, it was just, the whole thing was ad hominem. I got no arguments. I got absolutely nothing of substance from this guy. The first thing he went to was trying to insult my dad. And you know what's really funny is, like, the other conversation that I had on Instagram the other time, like, as soon as I freaking started to, like, post links in that chat, that motherfucker blocked me. So why are you coming to me and telling me you actually want to have a conversation about black crime stats and all that kind of shit? Because the first thing that you introduce yourself with to me is I have a half black brother and I'm a big supporter of Black Lives Matter. Why the fuck does that matter? Why does it matter if you have a half black brother? It does not matter.
Why did he feel the need to say that if he's a black man?
I don't know if he's black. Actually, no, I'm talking about the one I had a week ago or whatever, week and a half ago now.
Right.
I don't know if he didn't look black to me.
That one now?
No, I'm just gonna start a little bit because it's 11:30 and I'm getting sleepy. But I don't like right off the bat. You're gonna introduce yourself to me based on something like that. Like the identity politics is so strong with people that you think that that's like a point of like. Why is that even a thing? I don't fucking care if you have a black brother. I mean, that's a half black brother. That's cool. I mean, it's nice that people are mixing and stuff. I'm totally down with that. But like, why would like, as a point?
I'm just going to start every conversation with like, "Hi, I'm Bryan, and I have 4 Hispanic sisters."
Oh, you know what's really fucked up now? If you're a white person and you say, "I'm not racist. I have black friends," or "I have black friends," apparently, that's racist now. You can't say you have black friends. This is MTV logic right here.
For me to say I have black friends, but they can say, can they say I have white friends?
Of course, they can say whatever the fuck they want.
And that's not racism. So they just have a free pass on everything. That's cool. I'm okay with no. That's fucking bullshit. It's you know, I've had people give me shit because they're like, "Oh, reverse racism is bullshit." I'm like, well, it makes sense though if you think about it.
Reverse racism is not a thing. It's just racism.
It's not a thing, but it's a good way of describing what is happening because it's racism. And the reason why, I've realized that reverse racism isn't a thing, but the reason why that phrase even came into existence is because it's impossible to be racist against a white person. Mm-hmm. So they had to come up with a special word for it. But yeah, it's just flat racism. But like I said, it's impossible. It's not in the majority of people's minds, you just can't be racist against a white guy. It's just not possible.
I saw that the girl who is the main actress on that show, Dear White People, was being interviewed on some radio show. Mm-hmm. And they said, he asked her something about blacks being racist. And she goes, yeah, blacks can be racist. I mean, they can hold prejudices, but racism is everything to do with oppressive power structures. And because white people have the most power in society, only they can be racist. It's like, how do people do this shit? How do people get away with the mental gymnastics? It's so blatant and so obvious. And it's just, I don't understand. Like, that shit triggers me so much. You're going to take a word, you're going to flip it over, you're going to do whatever the fuck you want to it. And you're going to be like, here you go. This is what I think it is, so this is what it is.
No.
Because I don't want to address that I'm a fucking racist. Everybody else is a racist, not me. I'm virtuous. I'm virtuous, guys. I have a cause to fight for here, okay? I'm really fucking important shit. White people better not be getting in my way.
It just means you have a free pass. Look at me, I have a free pass because I'm
Look at this point this guy made. Black people think about what white people are doing so much more than the other way around. And it's so fucking true. White people are living their lives, man. And like, are black people.
I can genuinely say that, like, I live in a pretty colored community. That where I live, I mean, it's pretty diverse, but I couldn't give a shit what's going on with anybody around here. They don't affect me. I don't care. I just do my thing.
Yeah, and I mean, like, there are black people, like my friend Eric, for example. We've had this conversation, and like, he's a very educated, very nice, like upstanding person from the black community. You know what I mean? Like, super chill guy, very nice, and like, he says the same shit. Like, if you want to do something, you just have to get up and do it on your own. You can't fucking blame other people for your shit. Like if you like, my question to Black Lives Matter is always, if you guys really give a fuck about black lives, why don't you care about the 98% of deaths that are happening by the hands of other blacks? Why? Compared to like the minuscule amount that cops shoot blacks, the only reason it's so salient in people's minds that cops shoot black people for no reason at all is because of the way the media purports these issues. They won't
I like the argument that, the majority of prisons are filled by, black people or minorities. And it's like, well, I'm sorry, they commit more crime. Statistically, that's the way it is. And the argument that came across when that point was made was, no, prisons are a business and they need to fill those beds. So the cops are told to come up with shit. And I'm like, have you ever heard of the judicial system in America is not that racist. A judge isn't going to throw someone in jail for a fucking trumped up charge. The
Eric
reason
told me
why
that.
all these people are in jail is because, you look at the maximum security prisons. These guys are in there because they murdered people or they're, sex offenders, shit like that. And
But Bryan, you can't say that we haven't had a bad day once in a while.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God, Lord!
I'm
I
having
can't
a bad
believe
day.
she said that.
Don't.
Oh, okay. So, if I have a bad, like I left that comment under that video, I'm having a bad day. I'm gonna go rob a bank now. So you can just have a bad, and like the fucking stupid
Did you
thing.
see what I posted on that same video?
I did. I liked it. It's like you never pay attention when I actually like your shit. You're like, hey, did you see that I said this? I'm like, oh my God, I liked it. How come you never pay attention when I like it?
Finish your story.
That lady, she was talking about how jails are full of trans and black and Hispanic. It's like, no, jails are full of criminals, ho. What are you talking about? Jails are not full of, that does not matter. The color of your skin, your sexual orientation does not fucking matter. You're in there because you did something you're not supposed to fucking do.
Yeah. You pulled the trigger. When you pull the trigger, the cop and the judge and the jury don't care what color your skin is. The fact is you pulled the damn trigger. Yeah. So you're going to jail.
And get this. So black people have no privileges, apparently. Eric told me that universities have race quotas.
Oh, they do. My stepsister
was in black. Are you fucking joking me?
My stepsister went to the University of Chicago. It's a pretty good school. And she got in on a Hispanic minority scholarship because she qualified. She had good grades. I mean, I'm not upset with she was a very good student. She was qualified either way, but she definitely got an advantage because she was Hispanic. And the thing because I remember that whole conversation in there because it irks me that back then, even when that was happening, when she was applying for her scholarship, included in the minority scholarship were gays. This was like 2003. But like, I'm sorry. I just don't lump gays in with minorities. Like, they don't count as a minority in my mind. It's not a race. It's a sexual orientation. It's the same thing as saying, we have to have so many women in this school or men. You can't do that either. So.
Yeah, let's lower the standards. Fuck meritocracy. We don't want the smartest people.
Oh yeah, there are a lot. If you are, the bottom line is, if I'm in high school right now as a white male, if I were in high school and I give 100% and I'm a 4.0 student and I applied to just say the University of North Carolina and I'm competing against a black man or a black kid who did exactly the same, 4.0 student, went to the same school, took the same classes I did, applied for the same college. He has a better chance of getting in than I do because he's black. He also has a better chance of getting it paid for, getting into these, all this extra assistance for it. Where, I'm not complaining about being a white guy, but the bottom line is we pay higher rates for a lot of things. It costs a lot more to be a single white man in America than it does to be a single black man. It's just the way it is. So there are a lot of advantages that they have that I don't, and I'm not throwing a fit about it. Like I could care less. Like
I like the fact that affirmative action is a thing is nonsense. Why is affirmative action still around? That's racist. You are giving preferential treatment to people based on the color of their skin. How these people don't see that and now like what's happening in society is cops are terrified to shoot black people. And you know what? Like, I'm sorry, motherfucker. If you're gonna resist arrest, which is illegal, you don't do that. If you're gonna if you look like you are pulling out a weapon, You can't do that shit. Cops do not have the time to assess whether you have a weapon or not. If it looks like you have a weapon, if it looks like you're pulling a weapon out, you're fucking getting shot. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, orange, yellow, green, blue, whatever the fuck you are. If you look like you're pulling out a weapon, if you're resisting arrest, if you are not complying, you're gonna get yourself in a shitty situation. It's not that difficult. It's common sense.
Yeah, you can dig into the facts, and there's a lot of white people that are getting shot by cops too. A lot of them. And that's not making the news because they were doing something wrong. Or maybe they weren't. Maybe they were resisting arrest, just like all the other bullshit stories you hear that people cause a fuss about. But, you know, like I said before, like I always side with the cop. My dad was a cop. I understand how that works. And I'm sorry, if you rob a convenience store and you're running down the street and the cop is chasing you and he tells you to stop, put your hands above your head, and instead you reach your fucking hands in your pockets, he's going to pull the trigger because you got to think of it this way too. And this goes to the whole, you know, police, you know, the law enforcement system we have. You know, the cops are underpaid, they're undertrained, you know, blah, blah, blah. You can go on about that forever. But, and I agree with that. They need better training, they need to be paid better for what they do. But the majority of the police, there are some bad eggs out there, but the majority of cops out there do it because they enjoy the reward they get from the civil service that they do. They enjoy being a police officer. They enjoy providing that service to the community. It's not because, oh, I get to carry a gun, drive a car, be the man in charge. There are some of those out there, but most of them are like that. And the sad part is a lot of them, they'll get thrown. What happens to a lot of these cops sometimes is they'll get thrown into a situation where they're in a bad neighborhood, and they're there for 20 years. And just put yourself in this situation. You're there for 20 years, and every time you get called to this specific community, it's always a guy's beating up his wife or someone got shot. You have to go into every situation in this community with your gun out because you don't know what's going to happen. And after 20 years, you're going to be ingrained to act like that when you go there. And you also got to think of it from the cops' perspective too. If you're running from the cops, especially if you look at a car chase, if you're in a car chase with a cop and he's speeding down the road, you're speeding down the road and he's got to chase after you, what's going through the cop mind at that point, he's getting pissed at you because he's having to put his own life on the line to stop your stupid ass because he won't just pull over. And, you know, maybe he's got a kid at home. Maybe his wife's pregnant. You know, it doesn't matter. There's all kinds of this shit going on in the cop's head, which is why from time to time, yeah, they snap. But for the most part, I'm sorry. If you just cooperate with the cop and say, hey, I did something wrong, whether that cop is racist or not, because believe it or not, there's dash cams. Every cop wears a microphone on their chest, records everything. And every car has a dash cam. And the cop is required to point that dash cam at the car when he pulls you over. If you just pull over, whether that cop is a racist son of a bitch or not, if you just pull over and cooperate with him, he can't do shit.
And if he does, he's at fault for that. You know what I mean? And what I'm saying is there are penalties for cops not doing their jobs properly. It's not like people who haven't done shit haven't been indicted. I mean, there was that situation where that on the video, it looked like the guy was running away from him and the cop just straight up shot him in the back. That cop got in trouble. He lost his job. He was indicted. Like, I just don't understand why people have such a hard time with this. Just because people get shot, guess what? It's a high-risk job. It's a high-risk environment that these people are operating within. Instincts do take over at some point. You know what I mean?
Well, see, like what Mirta said there, like the cops aren't being trained well enough. And that's entirely true. And trust me, I get that because I thought about being a cop here in North Carolina. And it was, I kid you not, 6 months, $2,000, I'm a cop. That's all it was. All it was. I'm sorry. Like, there needs to be, the way it should be treated is cops need to be paid a little more for what they do, but they need to go through some intense training and they need to be required to re-up that training once a year. They need to go through, you know, a 6-month boot camp and a 2 to 4 year college course or college degree. I'm not
saying that, like, obviously
they need to be trained better, but this is the situation that we're in right now and what we're dealing with. And I'm sorry. The bottom line is, if you don't want to get shot, it's pretty easy not to get shot by a cop.
Yeah, I personally think that yes, the whole training program can be evolved and get better, but at the same time, my stance is I'm always on the cop side. Fuck the criminals. I have no fucking respect for these people. I'm on the side of the people who are trying to keep civilization moving.
Yeah.
Who are trying to weed out the bad guys. Like, just because a cop is getting into a job in which they know they are risking their life does not mean their life should have to be put at risk because of some fucking idiot who doesn't want to comply with the law. The law's the law.
Yeah.
You have to listen. The reason that cops are a part of society is to regulate society. If you're doing something that society has collectively agreed upon to not allow, get the fuck out. I just don't have sympathy for criminals. You're making a conscious choice. If you're gonna put your hand in your pocket, if you're gonna put your hand in your pocket when the cop says, "Hey, keep your hands out," and
anything that's the thing is, like, you hear about people claiming, naivety a lot of times, like, oh, I didn't know it was illegal. Bullshit. Anybody that's raised in America, in your head what's illegal and what's not.
Mm-hmm.
You go and take something that's not yours, you know that it's illegal. It's pretty simple shit. Anybody can, unless you have a mental disorder, for the most part, anybody can, the simple things go, I probably shouldn't be doing this. And if you're doing it, there's a risk that you're going to get caught. And if you're going to resist, I'm sorry, the cop has a gun for a reason. And if I were a cop, you better believe I'm going to shoot you before you shoot me.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not cooperating with me and I'm worried that you might be doing something shady, then I'm sorry. Whether I lose my job or not, I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah, and you know what else is unfortunate? Someone actually mentioned this in the chat, is like the anti-cop rhetoric that is happening in the media, that's happening on shitty news networks like the Young Turks, who just like fucking embellish every bad cop story ever.
Mm-hmm.
And they only report on those stories. They don't even, like, they're so snaky. They don't even show the full fucking video. They don't show the full video of the things that happen. The video in which, oh, hey, actually, he did have a gun. It's laying on the ground right there. And that's why that motherfucker got shot.
Yeah.
Oh, but no, we're going to conveniently chop this footage up and just show you the part that confirms the narrative and agenda that we want to peddle towards you people.
It's not surprising at all, to be honest. I mean, it's just like, you know who Nancy Grace is?
Yeah.
She does the same shit. I mean, it's
awesome.
clickbait. That's the television version of clickbait. That's all it is. She's just doing whatever she can to get your eyes glued to that screen.
Yeah.
And make you watch it. And, it's this, it stems back to the whole, the way news is treated nowadays. I remember telling you a long time ago that
it's fake news. You're all fake news.
The way the news started, the way the television news began, like I was telling you, was because the radio waves and the TV channels, like CBS and NBC, the airwaves they use are owned by the U.S. government.
Mm-hmm. And
the U.S. government the original agreement when TV came to be was the U.S. government agreed to allow these broadcasters to use the airwaves. In turn, these companies that were going to broadcast needed to devote 1 hour a night during prime time to report on the news.
Mm-hmm.
But what Congress failed to include in that was there needed to be a stipulation where during that 1 hour news broadcast, it would be illegal to advertise. That was the one thing they needed to include that would have changed everything. If you couldn't advertise when reporting the news, it would change, it would completely change the way, we get our news. But the fact is, you look at, there's left wing, there's right wing, and there's no in between on TV, especially on TV anymore.
Yeah.
It's either we're all the way to the left or we're all the way to the right. You just gotta listen. So.
And like news organizations are clearly biased. Everybody is like in this, it's that mob mentality shit that just keeps coming up in every single issue right now. You have the Black Lives Matter mob. You have the I'm with the cops mob. You have the leftist mob. You have the alt-right mob. You have blah, 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 blah mob. Like,
Yeah.
and then the thing is, instead of thinking about these issues individually, everybody just fuels each other with their stupid fucking ideas.
Oh, I want to dive into the chat right now.
Go for it.
I voted for Trump. Deal with it. And I agree. Trump is a symptom.
He is a symptom. And
Trump
the thing is, the thing that people don't
because-
realize is that people just didn't want Hillary so bad. They would take, clearly they would take anything else. They took that orange anus.
Yeah. I don't think I voted for Trump because I believe he was the lesser of two evils, and that's the only reason I voted for him. I didn't really support him. But, you know, I was like, well, he's a lesser of two evils. And then, like I said, it's like watching a car crash. You can't look away. Let's just see what happens. But, you know, I do agree that he's a symptom. Like he's the result of the society that we live in today. We got pulled, especially when you look at the white Americans. For the most part, most of us are pretty quiet, including myself. But we kind of snapped, I think, is what happened with Donald Trump, is we just got pushed and pushed and pushed with these liberal ideas, and extreme liberal ideas, that a lot of the conservative Americans just snapped and were like, you know what? Fuck you. Here's Donald Trump. Deal with it. And, you know, a lot of voters came out in support of him just because of that. But,
yeah. But this is where you and I disagree, because I would have voted Hillary.
yeah,
Even though she was awful, because I agreed with most of her shit. That would have been the sensible way for me to go. And I mean, I personally don't believe that.
Except she's a shady, lying scumbag.
Yeah, she's awful, but
Lifelong
oh,
bureaucrat.
man. You know what? My other issue is like, I am like such a Sam Harris believer.
Trump shaves his
And
pubes, by the way.
he shaves his pubes?
Someone in the chat asked if he dyes his pubes. I said, no, he shaves them. Anyway, Sam Harris.
Sam Harris, like I've listened to him talk extensively about Trump, and like when somebody like Sam Harris is so deeply concerned about the state of our democracy and politics and shit, and like would have also voted Hillary, that makes me biased as well, right? I'm gonna admit that bias because I trust the way that he thinks about things. I don't know anybody that thinks as clearly as he does. So aside from like, she is she's awful, and I in the beginning was like really all for Trump too, because of that same reason, because I was just so fucking tired of her like, vagina, I have a vagina, vote for me because I have a vagina, I'm gonna break the glass ceiling. Like, I don't care that you have a vagina. I care how well you're gonna execute yourself in this position. And based on all the things that have happened around her, I mean, like, that deterred me, yes, but like Trump, like we just pulled out of the Paris fucking climate change shit, which I don't think was a good move. There's like 168 countries that are a part of that thing, and like,
what really got me, I think, to commit to Donald Trump was, let me gather my thought again, I just had it, was I believe the United States is ready for a female president. I don't think that a female can't do the job. I think we're ready. I think us as a culture, especially, we're ready for a female president. But we have better to offer than Hillary Clinton. I don't think Hillary Clinton should be a role model to the young women in America. And if you were around in the United States during the election, wow, you should have seen the slanderous shit that Hillary was putting on the TV. She was the one doing the scorched earth campaign. She was just torching Donald Trump left and right. And it was just all the liberal organizations that were backing her, that were putting out their own commercials. It was just negative. Where at least for the most part, what you saw of Donald Trump was just the whole, let's make America great again. Let's build a wall, thumbs up, that kind of shit. But for Hillary, it's just a lot of the advertisements were just, he's going to grab us by the pussy and blah, blah, blah. It's just the most negative shit you could find. And it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. But like I said, I think we're ready for a female president, but
Not
we
her.
have better.
Not
We
her,
have better
though.
to offer. There's someone in this country.
Yeah, but the problem is you
better.
fucking don't have anything better to offer because all you fucking had was Trump and Clinton. You didn't have anybody good. There was nobody good in this running. There was not
That's
one
not
person
our
that
fault.
I was. I'm not
that's the
saying it's
DNC.
your fault. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm just saying like that. This is what America has produced.
Yeah, it's just, and you know what? I think it's a one-off thing. Like we're gonna have a shitty presidency, and we're gonna hopefully, fingers crossed, realize what we did here and go back to actually. The two parties need to stop just trying to win, which is all either.
They need to
one of them trying
communicate.
to do right now.
That's the problem. If we actually want,
They looked
like,
at
a
it and they
functioning-
said, "Well, Obama's done. So how are we going to hold the White House as Democrats? Well, we need to get Hillary Clinton in there. She wants to run. She's getting older. This is going to be her last chance. We need to do it. It's time for a female president." And the Republicans looked at it and went, "Well, who do we have that can beat Hillary Clinton?" And reality was we didn't have anyone that could beat Hillary Clinton. So here came Donald Trump.
I would have taken Obama again.
I would have voted for Obama again too. I would have voted for George Bush over either of these two. I would have voted for Bill Clinton.
Bush, hey?
Mm-hmm. George W. Bush wasn't that bad of a president. He was a bit
Evil
of an idiot,
doers. Evil doers.
He didn't.
During
my lifetime, I think if I could bring back at least the lifetime I can remember it, I would vote for Bill Clinton over anybody else at this point.
Yeah, there was
That's mainly because
he wasn't there. I remember that.
I was born during the Reagan administration, and I just don't remember it, so I don't count.
No, I'm
him.
talking. Oh, did you say Reagan? I thought you said Clinton. You would vote for Clinton.
I said Clinton, but I said I was born during the Reagan administration, but I don't count him because I don't remember it. I remember the Clinton administration. But
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
I hope he did.
Oh, he did.
If I was the president, I'd be getting my dick sucked in the Oval Office. You better believe it. I'm the fucking president.
Family man.
I never said it wouldn't be my wife.
It's so silly though. Like, it's. There needs to be a figurehead. We're such apes. We're such tribal beings that there needs to be an alpha or someone who looks like they're playing the role of alpha for us to feel comfortable. Like, it's really fucking weird. I don't know how we got here, but even like within primates, it's like that. There's an alpha male.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's just the way the society works, and I kind of feel like it's not going to work like this for much longer. I don't think it's going to happen during our lifetime, but you can already, you look at history, and every civilization has its downfall, and most major civilizations last 200 to 300 years, and that's the end of it. Then we're coming up on that. I don't think the United States is going to last as it is forever. I think we're nearing at least some sort of revolution, and it'll happen.
It's such a young country, though.
Well, yeah, but it's also, you got to think of it more as, not that we are, but think of it more as an empire than a country. Like, look at the British Empire, look at the Greek Empire, look at the Romans, things like that. Like a civilization rose, changed the way we saw the world, and then collapsed on itself. And I think we're probably,
W.
for that too. So.
I don't know right now. I don't even like RPM. I don't like government anywhere. It's all being
like that dude.
What?
I thought you liked that dude.
No, I don't like Trudeau. He's such a fucking bitch.
Didn't you vote for him?
I did.
Womp womp. I voted for Trump. I know how you feel.
You know what, though? I wasn't going to vote conservative because, like, Harper had this really... I really feel like I'm misunderstanding this because somebody told me this, and I was like, that doesn't even fucking make sense to me. But if you committed a crime, you could be... I'm not even going to fucking bother with this. Never mind. It's probably stupid.
I don't think we can pass judgment on Trump just yet. I know a lot of people aren't happy with him, but I don't think enough time has passed for us to get a good
You know what,
idea
though?
It's not
what he's doing in government. It's his fucking demeanor. He is an awful example for humanity. Nobody should be like that man. He fucking eats McDonald's. He's an unhealthy piece of shit. The way he talks to people, the way he thinks he's just like such big shit. He waves his dick around. He has no respect. He does not comport himself like a healthy and stable adult. He's a fucking narcissistic child. And people don't like that shit. It's really off-putting. The only people who like that shit are idiots. Like, I don't care that Trump's president as much as I care about, like, dude, you're the president. Like, you have to have respect for that shit. If you want respect, you have to act in a respectful way. And you're kind of a douche.
Yeah.
Like, I think people would be more willing to give him a chance if he wasn't such a greasy douche, but he is. I mean, like, look at his history in the past. And I'm not talking about the, like, grab him by the pussy shit. You know, I'm just fucking talking about, like, how he doesn't have respect for people at all. Like, I mean, compare him to somebody like Obama. Obama, like, you have to maintain face as somebody in that position. And that's important. A normal person who has his attitude and demeanor should not feel like they could grow up to be president. That is not sending the right message to anybody. And that's what I don't like about the guy. Like, I agree. I'll give him a chance. Like, obviously there's 4 years now to go, three something years.
My interest in Trump isn't about his foreign policies or about anything like that. My interest in Trump stemmed from the fact that he is a strong businessman with a good understanding of economics. Obviously, he wouldn't get where he was if he wasn't. People are going to argue that, oh, he's an idiot. Well, you know what? He's a billionaire and he owns a lot of land all over the world. He knows how to work with money. He understands how it works. And that's, I think, what our country needs more than anything right now is someone. It's
not enough for somebody to fill the role of president. I don't care how much fucking money you have. I don't care if you have a business empire. I don't care. Like, that's fine. I'm sure it's a very useful asset to have some idea of how the economy works. But the point is that it's important how you present yourself to the world. It really is. And if you're the president, and if you're in the position of president, and there are children who are growing up seeing this douchebag be a president, and they're one of those douchebag kids who like bullies people, who like says shit indiscriminately. No, I know. I'm just like reiterating my view on just like the bad example he sets for people who may look to be in that position one day.
No.
You know, yeah, Hillary is fucked up and twisted and shit, but like she still maintained a very adult-like, stable demeanor. You know, she didn't have to go to insults right away. She's like,
but that's all she did.
Yeah, she did because like she had to go down to his level. You can't beat a guy like that in any kind of verbal war.
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. That's all Hillary had to offer, though, was the demeanor. She didn't have anything else. She was just lying. She was two-faced. She was shady about everything in her past. She was a lifelong bureaucrat, and that's all she knows how to do is to just nod and agree and make people happy or to fly under the radar. She doesn't know how to change anything or make anything better.
I don't know if Trump does either though, but I personally just don't like his demeanor. I mean, there's sometimes I do like him. Sometimes he says shit and it makes me fucking laugh. I can't even help it. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe he fucking said that. Or, oh my God, I can't believe he did this. Like, it's a fun little chaotic experiment that's happening over there right now. But like, I just like, it's not even, it's just like people see him behave like this, and this is the president, and the president is someone that you like, you know, is revered generally. I mean, I don't think in this case, whether it was Hillary or him, they would, like, the president would have been revered, but like, it's just so sad. We went from someone who is like looks very well held together. Looks very like well held together. And I think that's all that perception is reality for people. And I don't know. It's just really crazy to see like someone who is leading the biggest world power right now, just like
it depends on how you
I don't know. I'm conflicted. I do not think he's president material, period. But then he'll go and say something. He'll call Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas, and I'll fucking laugh my ass off. So,
like I said, it's like watching a car crash.
Yeah, it is. It is like watching a car crash in fucking slow motion, an orange car.
Well, on that note, I think we should call it a night.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah.
We can pick it up again in a few days or
Oh,
something.
I'm getting so angry. I'm gonna need to do a stream with Neep at some point. And yeah, like I don't know. I'm all fired up because of Donald Trump. Well, it was good talking to you. We didn't even get to talk about anything else.
I know.
Actually, we went from racism to Trump like really fast. What happened?
We just didn't cover much at all of what we wanted to.
That's okay. It just goes wherever it wants to
got
go.
onto
That's
your,
fine.
got onto your text message war.
I did. But we finished that.
Mm-hmm.
We finished that. I basically found out that I'm white. I have white privilege. I'm not brown. My dad's a savage. My dad's heritage matters. Yeah.
And there was a bear outside your tent that licked all the blood off the steak tray.
Yeah, and you're it's not okay that you're white. You should kill yourself.
Oh God, no.
You should kill yourself. Like right now. Right when we get off this, you should.
I'm just gonna blackface for the rest of my life.
No, but then you're racist.
It'll be a good blackface. They'll never be able to tell.
Yeah.
I don't sound white at all, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess you could kind of sound black if you like had a little bit of an accent.
I'm not even gonna try.
Okay, fine. Okay, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye.
Okay, big kiss. Mwah.